The Big 12 quarterback power rankings edition of the Big 12 Experience on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 100 times your entry with Underdog Fantasy Pick'em. Sign up today using the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash today. Underdog Fantasy promo code TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by the Mega Memorial Merch Sale. 15% off everything in the SGPN merch store with the promo code SGPN May. Welcome, everybody, to the Big 12 College Experience, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Thursday, May the 23rd. We're getting closer and closer to opening day on Labor Day weekend. Talking Big 12 football today, and we're talking the most important position, the quarterbacks. Go check out our coaches' rankings. But if you're wondering who you're listening to, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. And talking Big 12 means, well, I'm joined by this man because he's a walking contradiction because he was born in Provo, Utah. He's got family in Ames, Iowa. He lives in Morgantown, West Virginia. Co-host of the Ryan and Rush Show, Rambling Rush. What is up, Rush?
Gentlemen, I have good news and I have bad news. The bad news, we'll lead off with that. We were talking last episode, top 10 rankings. We've talked about it a little bit this year. Was Shug, however we want to pronounce his name. Never figured that one out. He actually plays for Louisville now. I guess we missed that one with a lot of transfer portal. This is our off season too, right? Getting our reps in. We'll be good to go by the season. So it happens. Bad news there. The good news is we don't have to worry about the pronunciation anymore because he decided to go to the ACC. So we're on to better and bigger things. Morton's going to be the quarterback for Texas Tech. So apologies there, audience. But hey, don't have to worry about the pronunciation anymore.
It's everybody's in the portal. You may miss one or two. That's why we do our team previews after June 1. So make sure you subscribe to the Big 12 Experience, where we newcomers, we will preview each and every one of your new teams, and we will have you on our logo. Graphics team is working on that. But hey, third man in the box, you guys know him as a 6-time Zen champion, also known as the green mowing, weed growing Big 12 guru, Troy Tuning. What is up, brother?
We actually just got a new electric self-propelled mower for the house itself too.
Okay.
Matches the weed eater and the blower we have. So I've already mowed the lawn 3 times this week.
How you hitting them? You hitting them all right this week?
I think I shot 74 earlier in the week when we played. So still looking pretty good. Handicap's down to, I think right now it's actively like 0.8. So it hasn't gone back up to 1 yet. I'm still in that probably going to kick your ass range. So
yeah.
Excited to finally talk quarterbacks. I mean, we'll get to our, second string left tackle power rankings here in about a week or so. But
yeah,
excited to talk quarterbacks. We actually have something, for most of these guys, we have something like tangible that we can bring up as to, why we like or dislike them or something. Shug can shuck off. That's fine. He's out of here. And also, just remember, no Emory Jones. So the quarterback rankings in general, when you talk about like an overall league's quarterback skill, the Big 12 skyrocketed as soon as Emory Jones left being a quarterback. The overall skill ratings of the Big 12 just hopped up a whole nother level.
No doubt. Yeah, Emory Jones out.
Fuck Emory Jones.
We did lose Dylan Gabriel and, of course, Quinn Ewers going over to the SEC. Actually, Dylan Gabriel's not even with Oklahoma anymore. He's in Oregon now, so he's in the Big Ten.
Would have left regardless.
Make sure you subscribe to the College Football Experience with Colby, Nick, and Patty, because they're going to be recapping all this fucking – we can only focus on the Big 12 because that's enough for us with 16 teams. And it's America's league, as Josh Pate would say, because it's the league of the middle class. But real quick, before we dive into quarterbacks, it's the biggest week in racing, so get on over there with the Indy 500, Grand
Ooh, it is
Picks and
7,500.
Coke 600. Rod and Cody from the NASCAR Gambling Podcast and F1 Gambling Podcast have you covered. Make sure you join their Kyle Larson Die Hard car giveaway that's free to enter. Just go over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/race to register and make sure you subscribe to the NASCAR Gambling Podcast and F1 Gambling Podcast. Plus, we're giving away a running mega Memorial Day merch sale, 50% off everything in the merch store. Promo code SGPN May. My personal favorite is my hat on right now. You know, fits kind of a Memorial Day weekend. Support the USA and get on over there. They got plenty of items to rock this summer. So get on over there. SGPN merch store today. All righty. Let's talk some quarterback rankings.
But on a quick note before that, do we think that now the racing podcast guys are allowed to list that they're also like fighting podcast after last week's little scrum?
Little dust up. Yeah.
Little dust up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of dust ups, I think Trump's going to be at the Coca-Cola 600.
I did see that. He's everywhere right now.
It also looks like Rush might be frozen. So I'm just trying to.
Oh, he's back. There he is.
Trying to
there he is.
bust off some time there.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's campaign season, so you know all the president, or at least one presidential candidate will be at one of these races. The other one will probably just be in his basement.
Sleeping.
All right, let's move along to quarterbacks. Let's do it. Yeah, and you know what? I like Hunter in the chat. Maybe we can look ahead a little bit of Heisman long shots at the end, since we are talking quarterbacks, and it's a quarterback award. But Rush, I'll let you lead it off. We'll go 16 through 11 because, I mean, there's not much separating the bottom tier in this league at the quarterback position.
You could probably, we talked about it before the show, put these in 3 to 4 tiers, kind of like everything else. Well, I'm sure we'll all be aligned somewhere in there. And apologies about the Wi-Fi. I'm in Morgantown. I guess the Wi-Fi is already prepared for Memorial Day weekend and chilling out itself. So excuse me there. Number 16, we got Sam Leavitt. I think that's the pronunciation there. We'll figure that one out. Levitt. I like Leavitt because it can go two ways. He has no start, so you got to put him at 16, right? Well, see how this one goes. If he does really well, you got to leave it to Sam. If he does really bad, Sam, you just got to leave. So we'll figure that one out. Number 15, Brendan Sorsby, the Indiana transfer, now at our favorite school, Troy, Cincinnati. I was going to make a joke, but you beat me to it. Is number 17 Emory Jones, and then go into 16. But
Right.
we'll slip in the Emory Jones jokes there. 14 Josh Hoover. Need to see more out of him. Very inconsistent last year. It does have the ability. He's going to need to be that more game manager type role. But he could also be the reason we talked about on the coaching episodes where maybe Sonny Dykes ends up leaving a little earlier than we think. Next, the BYU guy, Jerry Bohannon, coming in from Baylor. Got to figure it out. BYU has the history of the quarterback factory. Let's see if this guy can keep that going. Going to be interesting there. Number 12, Morton, Texas Tech, has the ability to be a really good game manager and do great things for Texas Tech. This may be the year after for them, but he is kind of that game manager. He's not going to take over a game and start slinging the ball. Maybe he makes a big jump this year, but I just don't see that happening either. And then I'm curious, we'll hear from you, Troy, on this. Baylor's new quarterback, DeQuan Finn. Outside of the top 10, obviously, we need to see what he's capable of doing there at Baylor. Baylor's in a very interesting season where they could see their coach gone midway through it. So I think a lot of these quarterbacks, you got to think about, too, where their coaching situations are coming in. And because, they could be decent quarterbacks, but I think Sorsby's already, for example, at a disadvantage with Satterfield being in there, too. So that is my 11 through 16.
Troy, hand it to you.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same 6 guys or 5 guys here, but between Levitt, Sorsby, and DeQuan Finn, I kind of have those 3 as your like 16, 15, and 14, the very bottom. Not necessarily, between Levitt and Sorsby, we just got to see how it's going to work out. I then have Bohannon coming in right above DeQuan Finn. I will mention Obviously DeQuan Finn's not some kind of stud that's going to, you know, raise the whole ceiling of the entire Baylor team. But for kind of the position they were in, I think they did about as good as they could do getting him in the transfer portal. I don't really see a lot of hope for this Baylor program right now. There's no real spark or like super excitement around really anything. So, you know, teetering on the edge there in my mind. And then after that, I've got Morton and Hoover as well, right there in those 11 and 12 spots. I'm pretty sure that that's pretty interchangeable between those two. I see a lot of similarities between Morton and Hoover.
Yep.
Almost kind of the same quarterback. And the thing about Bohannon being down in the bottom, he kind of falls into that. We've already seen so much of him. I mean, I know the USF teams that he was on weren't that good. He probably would have been smart to stay one more year at Baylor. But again, we've kind of already seen the quarterback that he is, and it's just kind of you know, slightly below average with the chance for like a hot pan, maybe 2 weeks out of the whole year or something like that.
Yeah.
All right. We're pretty aligned, like you said. I got Bohannon, Levitt, and Sorsby is definitely my bottom three. And then I had Hoover and Morton, more of the same, where I just need to see it a little bit more with both of them. They both kind of have shown flashes, but I would like to see a little more consistency. Sorsby, I mean, he did it a little bit at Indiana, but like you said, a little bit inconsistent. Then the other guys just haven't played as much, and Bohannon inconsistent as well, which gets me to my number 11. I actually went Donovan Smith. I think Donovan Smith's a good piece, but I think he was inconsistent as well. I think he was a product of Houston trailing in a lot of games, and in the Dana offense, they're going to throw a little bit more. So Donovan Smith was at number 11 for me out of Houston. So that gets us into our top 10. But real quick, let's talk about it on the other side, because we got to talk about Underdog Fantasy. The NBA playoffs are here, and our Underdog Fantasy wants to make a lot more interesting. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest way to play fantasy sports all year long. Troy, you got anything cooked up? I know we're nearing the end of the NHL playoffs, but what you got going on over there?
Yeah, I've got a couple of guys in the Western Conference game tonight. I'm just going with the shot totals for both Leon Draisaitl and Miro Heiskanen. Higher than 2.5 for Miro and higher than 3 for Leon Draisaitl. You know, it's a 3.3x, not anything big, but those two guys have just been firing the puck all playoffs long, and those shot totals are a little low for me to, you know, see an easy opportunity to just collect a nice little bankroll dub.
Love it. And get on over there. Take higher. Underdog is available. 30+ states, including California, Texas, Canada, and they just launched their Champions Player versus Player format in Florida. Sign up today with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick and first time deposit up to $250 in bonus cash. Underdog Fantasy promo code TCESGPN. All righty. We are back on the Big 12 college experience. So number 10, I yield back to you, Rush. I feel like we're doing like a fantasy draft. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is where Donovan Smith comes in for me. I actually think Donovan Smith, the issue with him is the inconsistency, but his ceiling is pretty high. I mean, when he was at Texas Tech, I mean, one of the reasons why, you know, they overperformed that season. And then this past year, we saw glimpses. We saw, you know, things he's capable of. And then we see him throw an interception, and no one of his guys were in sight either. So he definitely has that big floor to ceiling. But, I mean, for the most part, I'd rather have him than a lot of these other quarterbacks that we went over to. So I felt like it was right to put him in the top 10.
Yeah, I have Donovan Smith at this spot here too. His skill level, just his average overall performance level, is obviously it's very reminiscent of Alan Bowman. And, you know, those two guys were competing for a spot at Texas Tech against one another. So I've got, you know, these next three, 10, 9, and 8 for me are kind of would be considered like a tier or something like that.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I got this is where I had Daquan Finn coming over from Toledo, 30+ starts. He was productive all those years, multiple facet quarterback, dual threat, able to run the ball, 20-plus touchdowns last 3 years, and they were winning. So I went Finn as my number 10, Rush number 9.
It's going to be a little controversial. I have Avery Johnson here. He definitely showed flashes last year. Yeah, I know, but we've seen this from Kansas State from these past 2 years, right? Is that 2-quarterback system. I want to see him lead this team for a whole year and show I am the guy. I'm telling you, if he does it right and does what he's capable of and does it for a complete season, this is going to be a top 3 quarterback next year when we're doing this at the same time. But I need to see that. Like his skill level is absolutely incredible. But let's see it over a whole season, and let's see Kansas State do a remarkable job with only 1 quarterback. So that's why I have him at number 9. I know a little controversial, but I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, nine for me is Iowa State's Rocco Becht. Not really as an insult to him. I think he can perform better than the 9th quarterback in this league. It just seems to be a lot of grit right now. And the quarterbacks that I have listed above him, all but one, the next one, I think they have a much higher ceiling than Rocco Becht does. And because of that, I kind of lean to the guys. I mean, what's the point in throwing an average quarterback out there and getting average results when you have the opportunity to maybe, throw a game breaker in there? I don't know if Rocco Becht is always going to be able to be a game breaker, but he certainly has gritted out and won some games that they probably didn't really deserve to win. And it might've been because of him, but it's not, dotting guys 50 yards down the field. It's just making the consistent right decision. So that's why he's at 9.
9 for me is Alan Bowman. I don't know how this guy's still in college. His freshman year was 2018. It's 2024.
He's gonna be in one. He's gonna be in one of those NCAA commercials where it's like you can go pro in something other than sports.
Dude, he's been in college so long. He was 3 years into college before COVID. I mean, my God, he's been everywhere. Texas Tech for 3 years, Michigan for 2 years, and this will be his 2nd year at Oklahoma State, his 7th year. I know they won the Big 12 title, but he kind of sucked, to be honest. Like, he made some throws. He was up and down. He finished with 15 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. So it wasn't like he lit it up. They just had Ollie Gordon, and they rode him to the Big 12 title game. So give me Alan Bowman at number 9. I still give him a little bit of credit for finding ways to win games, but they didn't win because of him. They, in ways, won in spite of him. Rush, number 8.
Yeah. I mean, well, this is where Alan Bowman comes in for me. You basically took the words right out of my mouth. It starts off the season as a 3-quarterback system, and then, they still get to the Big 12 championship game and then lay an egg against Texas. And I know Texas was really good too. I mean, sometimes I think of Alan Bowman and I just think of like him completing, like throwing a bullet for 15 yards, putting it in a perfectly placed area and just being an unbelievable play. And then I also think of Alan Bowman sailing the ball on some running back 5 yards away and then it being returned for a pick 6 and everywhere in between. But yeah, I mean, he's experienced. He took it to the Big 12 championship game. I mean, that's got to stand for something. So you just got to catch him on the right type of day. So, but yeah, I'm with you. Number 8, Alan Bowman for me.
Yeah, this is where Bowman comes in for me as well. It really fits the the 8 out of 16 right down the middle, the absolute average. And you know exactly what you're getting from Alan Bowman. You've already seen him for the equivalent of like an NFL career in college. 15 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. And like this year he'll improve and it'll be like 17 and 13 or like 16 and 13. You know exactly how the guy's going to play.
You know exactly what you're getting with.
I mean, he throws that like slot fade and it's the guy's tapping his toes on the sideline and you're like, holy shit, Alan Bowman makes some awesome throws. And then again, you see the running back out of the flat and it's just like, oh, the dude that he threw the interception to was 7 yards behind the guy that he was trying to throw it to.
Some of those fucking throws he made, I was like, what the fuck is he looking at?
That BYU game is that's the epitome of what Alan Bowman can do for you. Like, they still needed Ollie Gordon to eat everything up for them to come back and win that game. But there was, maybe 3 throws that he made that was like, holy crap, they're going to have a chance to win here. But the only reason why they were in that position were the 3 throws that he made where you're like, no, don't
do it. Don't do it. And then he does it. Yeah.
He's right there staring at the guy. No.
At number, where are we at? Number 8, I had Rocco Becht, and Rocco's solid. I mean, this isn't a knock. I mean, the top half of the league quarterbacks is really good, in my opinion, in this league. I thought Rocco Becht got better as the year went along, finished with 10 touchdowns and 1 interception down the stretch, got better, gave him some stability in a year where they had a lot of fucking questions headed in the year. And I thought he played well for his freshman year. So give me Rocco Becht as my number 8. He's right there, right in the middle, Mr. Steady.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ryan. That's number 7 for me. I think I would be curious. I know he came in last year with the whole gambling scandal that Matt Campbell probably threw all his guys under to get these guys in there, just as Campbell drew it up. I'd be curious how good he would be on another team. I think he's kind of the definition of this is the perfect place and perfect situation for him. He's definitely a game manager. No, yet is he a great quarterback? He's decent, and this could be his jump this year, where he's beyond a game manager. And he's also a very skilled quarterback as well. We see glimpses of it. We know it's possible. For right now, I think he's just kind of in a perfect place too, which separates him from like a Hoover or a Morton, like we were talking about.
My number 7 is Avery Johnson. I kind of have him at the 7 position, knowing that he has maybe the most opportunity of any of these quarterbacks to move up, but also maybe the most opportunity to pull the Will Howard and have your Kansas State fans being like, how does he look completely different one week to the next? He's got all the tools. You can see it. I mean, in the games where he plays well, he definitely rises the whole ceiling of the team, which is something that you're looking at that QB position. But between 7 and 6, I see basically the same quarterback, just in different spots.
Yeah. And it's noted that I'm very high on Avery Johnson, but I don't think you can realistically rank him ahead of these top 6 guys. These other 6 guys have produced for multiple years now at the college level, outside of maybe one guy in Morgantown that we'll talk about here in a minute. But
that's who I'm kind of alluding to as well.
Yeah. I mean, Avery Johnson could be, in a way, a bigger version of Garrett Greene. So this guy next year, like Russ said and Troy said, he could be the number 1 on our list. It would not shock any of us. I tend to believe that he may have the best value for the Heisman out of all these guys, just with his skill set. But I don't think until he does it for a whole year, you can rank him ahead of these other 6 guys coming up.
Number, what are we on? 6?
Yep,
yeah,
and we all agree on the top 6, I believe.
Yeah, we'll go. My number, I guess, is probably just the order of it. And again, apologies, guys, with the Wi-Fi. It's already on. Like I said, my Wi-Fi is already on Memorial. KJ Jefferson. KJ Jefferson is the definition of like he's on today, like he's cooking, and like when it's not cooking, it's you can tell too. His ability, he's got to get someone he's got to throw the ball to someone, like meaning someone's going to kind of have to make themselves open. He's not going to make that perfect pass by any means, and if he definitely starts questioning in it and starts taking off himself, the game can really get ahead of him too. You know, he's knowing when to run around. I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks in this league, if not the NCAA. But it's just every game's a question of which version of this are we getting. So a little inconsistent there, but still an amazing quarterback with amazing talent. That's why I have him at number 6.
6 for me is Garrett Greene, just because I see Avery Johnson and him having so many similarities. But Garrett Greene is already a year ahead of that. We need to see a guy take a team for a year and make them better. And he absolutely did that last year for West Virginia. Another quarterback in that position, I think West Virginia probably wins 1 or 2 less games. I I was very, very impressed with Garrett Greene, and I still am. Putting him at number 6 is not a knock. The 5 guys that are above him are all dudes that could possibly end up in the playoffs and, maybe even win you a playoff game or something like that. So I just think that he's slightly above Avery because he's already shown us a little bit more.
I went Jefferson as well with Rush at number 6, just because I feel like he regressed a little bit in his last 3 years at Arkansas. But I mean, we've seen Malzahn with these mobile quarterbacks in his days at Auburn do wonders. So maybe KJ Jefferson is bound for a huge fucking year down in at the bounce house. But yeah,
and that's how I have him ranked.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see. That's where him and Avery Johnson, I'm kind of simulating on what I think they could be. I know what I'm getting with Garrett Greene. But KJ Jefferson, I think it's going to work out, but I need to see it in Gus Malzahn's system because I like the fit. I really like the fit, and I know you're going to talk about it here in a minute, Troy. So number 5 as we enter our top 5, Rush.
Top 5, Garrett Greene, GG, baby. This guy is the definition of a college quarterback that you want. Has a tendency to overthrow the ball a little bit. I'm not saying this is your next stud in the NFL, but the guy, he's absolutely incredible. He has dual threat capabilities. Got to worry about the injuries, of course, a little bit, but Garrett Greene, top 5 quarterback for someone that was ranked 69th out of 69th last year. What a jump he's made. Looking forward to it continuing.
Not bad.
The best part about Garrett Greene too, especially you guys being WV fans, is he's going to lead the Big 12 in the plays where you're like, yes, no, yes. Like within like 3 seconds, your emotions are like, oh my God, we are screwed. Holy shit, what a play. Oh no, oh my God, it worked out.
Who'd you have at number 5, Troy?
5 for me. 5 and 4 are injury based. These are 2 guys that if you were going to bet on them to win the Heisman Trophy, again earlier, Hunter asking about being crazy for taking Jalon Daniels. I have Cam Rising here at 5 with, again, could be the best quarterback in the league, but he didn't play at all last year. Yeah. Didn't even get to take like 20 snaps in 2 separate games or something like that. At least Jalon Daniels got out there a few times so you could see like, oh man, he's still alive. Like this guy, we don't even know what we're getting from Cam Rising right now. And I kind of took that into account by bumping him down a little bit.
I remember when Whittingham was playing fucking mind games with Florida and everybody. Yeah, Cam Rising's questionable. It was game 1 there. It's like there's no way he's gonna be able to play. He's tore his ACL in the Rose Bowl the year before, and it was a bad one. I went the other injured quarterback here, and you could argue he's got the most talent in the league as well. I went Jalon Daniels. He hasn't played more than 8 games in a regular season yet. Coming off just 3 games last year. I worry about the health with him because he relies on his mobility so much outside the pocket, being a dual threat guy. Love his talent, love his upside. Fuck, I mean, I agree with Hunter. I don't hate taking a stab on Daniels 35-1 to win the Heisman. I think he's that good. I mean, we talked about Daniels being a Heisman candidate last year, and it wasn't Jaden Daniels. We were talking about Jalon Daniels because if Jalon Daniels had stayed healthy last year, he could have been in New York with Jaden Daniels. So I got him at number 5. He's good, but he's got to stay healthy. Rush?
Number 4, Jalon Daniels. Everything you just said there, Ryan. Good. We're in between. Don't worry about him with talent. You just got to worry.
Got that Morgantown Wi-Fi working hard.
I know. It's terrible right now.
It's
who
awful.
You got at number 4, Troy?
Did you get any of that?
I have Jalon. Only a little, not much. But I
try to get over to your hotspot.
I think he's on his hotspot.
I'll work on it, boys. I am. The Wi-Fi doesn't work at all. I'm on my hotspot right now.
Well, luckily, I also have Jalon Daniels at 4. So whatever nobody could hear Rush say, I can just probably repeat the same thing. To me, he's got the upside of Robert Griffin, and he's got the team makeup where they're not going to go fucking 12-0 or 11-1 or something like that. But if they go 9-3 and they win 6 or 8 of those games because of his quarterback play, or at least because of how the offense works. I mean, I know the running back Neal is returning and stuff too. We all see all the upside in Jalon. Just got to stay out there. And I mean, he decided to come back, didn't transfer anywhere. Those all have to be, at least you could argue that they're positive off-season momentum builders to keep Jalon Daniels in the building. But again, this is another guy that could be number one. I mean, we could be 3 or 4 weeks into the year and being like, yeah, the Heisman prediction last year was spot on. He just didn't get to play. Now he's healthy. Sure looks like it.
Yeah. I think we can all, or I know we all agree. We really want to see Jalon Daniels finish the whole season, because I think they can get to Dallas if he stays healthy in Leipold's offense. No homer. I'll give you the reason why. I got Garrett Greene at number 4, over 3,000 yards combined last year on the ground, through the air, over 30 touchdowns. They won 9 games. I thought he got better and better as the year went on too, where I think he's going to even take off even more headed into this year. It felt like that offense really found their groove after they kind of took that Oklahoma State loss, and he really played at a high level. And Troy hit it right on the head. I mean, if anybody else's quarterback there last year, they're probably 7-5. I mean, he elevated them to 9-4. And it's the sole reason why, with the offensive line, that we're talking potential Big 12 championship in 2024 in Morgantown. So Garrett Greene's number 4 for me in a crowded Big 12 room. What was that?
Does Garrett still have his long hair?
Yeah, it's not as long, but
so he might start off slow.
Yeah, he might
gotta grow a little
better
bit.
not. They're playing Penn State, so he better be ready to go. We'll get Rush back here to give out his top 3, but I'll go to you, Troy. So, yeah, actually, we're gonna differ on the top 3 because you already gave out.
Because I've got the best value for a Heisman pick in this league, and it's number 3, KJ Jefferson. Quarterback power is going to be 30% of the fucking play calls with Gus Malzahn and this dude, and I would not be surprised. Obviously, it's not going to be the same statistical season as Cam Newton, but the outlook of how they try to use him as a quarterback, it's going to be a lot like that. Big dude, powerful guy, great scrambler, not the greatest, accuracy. Has a bit of he's got arm strength, just not always the most pinpoint accuracy. But, at the college level, you can work around that, especially with a guy that can move and change angles. I would agree a lot with Rush saying, the receivers are going to have to work to get open for KJ Jefferson. But KJ Jefferson doesn't have to throw those guys open. He can scramble them open and then hit them with a little bit easier of a pass. And I love Gus Malzahn. Last year when we were doing the coaching rankings, kind of a scumbag. Perfect to be a head coach. You don't want the nicest guy to be your head coach, because then he's just a pushover and he gets stepped on. And it's going to help the fact that Gus Malzahn likes to go ultra fast to really pad this guy's stats. So I don't know what his number is for the Heisman Trophy right now, but whatever it is, I'd probably at least put a Little Caesars pretzel crust pizza on it.
There you go. Rush, number 3 for you.
Apologies, guys. I think I got it all sorted out. We should be good now. Of course, the Wi-Fi works when you have to work all day at home, but the second you need it for something fun, it, ducks out. Anyway, number 3, Shedeur Sanders. Unbelievable talent. Could be the first pick in next year's NFL draft. I'm curious how he's going to be this year with everything going on at Colorado and kind of the things we talked about with Deion, and Deion obviously being his dad. I think that can have an effect on you. I think we could see kind of the negative side effects of having your dad be the head coach and your dad being Deion Sanders and the type of attention that brings. My concerns with Shedeur are not his ability to play football or his talent level or anything like that. Can he stay mentally strong? And if the answer to that is yes, he's probably the best. He's beyond top 3. If it's no, you're going to see a lot like you did last year against Stanford. So, but he's an unbelievable quarterback.
Yeah, I'll echo everything you just said. I had Shedeur at number 3. He's a hard one to rank, kind of like his father when we did this. I know the talent's there. I couldn't rank him number 1. In too much up and down. A lot of it because of their offensive line issues that they think that they address in the offseason. But there's just also a lot of noise where I don't trust Colorado. I think we've all talked about it, but talent's there. I don't agree with him as the number 1 pick, like a lot of people have it mocked, but looking forward to seeing him in the Big 12. So I got him at number 3. Troy, number 2, and if you want to go number 2 and 1, go ahead.
All right. Well, number 2 for me is Shedeur. Again, I wouldn't be very opposed to a Heisman bet on this guy, but because of the hype in the preseason, I think you'd be better off waiting. Maybe he throws a stinker out there in one of the first couple of weeks and you get a little bit better of a price. But he only threw 5 picks last year. The guy's slinging the ball all over the place. Their defense sucked. Any of the games that they were in was just because the offense could score. And I don't really think that's going to change the way that, the game is played and how the rules are set up. As long as the offense executes anywhere near okay, things are probably going to go in your favor. He's obviously a stud. I wouldn't be surprised to see him playing in the NFL just because he's got, the family connection and he understands the amount of work that's required in order to compete at that level. I do give him a little bit of an advantage, but he's not number 1 because number 1 is an absolute stud in Noah Fifita. And he has the wide receiver that's played so many years with him that, the cerebral connection between having that number 1 guy that, every now and then the fuck it, whoever my favorite receiver is down there play is not always the worst idea. And he's accurate enough and has a strong enough arm that those crazy throws that he makes down the field are usually pretty spot on. He actually reminds me a lot of Jalon Daniels in the way that there's not a bunch of, there's a little bit of hype coming after the games at the end of the year for him, but for how accurate of a quarterback he is, you would expect to see a lot more in terms of, Heisman expectations. Like this guy should be listed in top 5 short list right off the bat in the beginning of the year. And like I said, I do see, in another world, you would have a Cam Rising or a Jalon Daniels up here just because they've been banged up. And I am kind of falling for some of the recency bias of Noah Fifita, but watching a quarterback do I'm going to run around and do it all on my own thing and have a wide receiver that he's that connected to already is just dangerous. It's very like Colt McCoy and Jordan Shipley reminiscent.
Good
He's
comparisons. Good. Yeah, so for my last 2, I really think you could have it 1A, 1B, because the pros and cons of each. For this list, I did put Noah Fifita at number 2. I little like kind of what you were saying, Troy. Let's see if he can follow it up again this year, especially with a new coaching staff in there. I think it's going to happen, and he will end up probably being the best quarterback in the Big 12 this year, if not one in the nation. He already is. But the reason I have him at 2 is because number 1, Cam Rising. That guy, time after time, has proven that he is a winner. He's done unbelievable things. He has a history, and clearly he has a history of being in college. This is similar to what we're saying about Alan Bowman. This is 7th, 8th years for Cam Rising. Gone to 2 Rose Bowls but he has the injury bug. So I guess Cam's cons are, the injury bug, and hopefully he's there for a whole season for Utah. And Fifita's, hey, does he have enough experience? So I think either one, you could say, which one would you rather have in that situation? I don't think you're wrong either way. But personally, for my list, it's by a hair, and I have Fifita at 2 and Rising at 1. I guess we're a bunch of Pac-12 homers.
I know we top 3 guys.
It's what it is.
I'm going to get accused of being a Pac-12 homer again. But
I went Fifita number 2 as well. I thought he had best underrated year in the country by far. I mean, 26 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Arizona sucked 2 years ago, and for them to go 11-2, beat Oklahoma in the what's it called, the Texas Bowl. I know it's in San Antonio. I forget the name of it. He was unbelievable in those games, and shit, they should have beat USC in that Alamo Bowl. Yeah, they should have beat USC in that overtime game. Shit, you could argue that they could have made the playoff if a couple bounces go their way. So Fifita, a little bit concerned about the coaching change, but the talent is undeniable. And then I got Rising at number 1. I'm more confident in him bouncing back off the injury than Daniels because he doesn't use his legs as much. He more so, in my opinion, uses his legs when he needs to use them. Escape pressure, but he doesn't. Daniels, I feel like, over relies on his legs. Rising does whatever the fuck you need him to do. If you need him to game manage, he'll game manage. If you need him to go toe to toe and outplay fucking overrated Caleb Williams, he will do that, and he did that. And he got to 2 Rose Bowls, and the guy's a winner. So I think he's the reason him and Whittingham are the reasons why they have a chance to win the Big 12 in their first year, and get to a playoff in their first year in this league. So, I hope not. Something tells me that they'll choke because their fans have been so adamant. Let's look at the Heisman. Let's look at the Heisman because I think
I'm going through a couple of them right now.
I don't see Shedeur.
He's 33-1.
Oh, he is 33-1
or 40-1 in anywhere in
that's not a bad.
No,
the advantage you get with Shedeur is
45.
If he does have a great season, they're going. They would love to give Shedeur Sanders the Heisman. They would love it. So if he has a good season,
check the link I just sent you guys. It's over at Vegas Insider. They have
that's what I'm looking at.
Books. Yeah, so
I see Fifita getting 30-1 on FanDuel.
Yeah, that's
and I see Avery Johnson getting 40-1 on DraftKings.
Yep.
But I also see KJ Jefferson getting 100-1 odds to win the Heisman Trophy, which I will be placing. Where is Garrett Greene? I mean, Cam Rising at 50-1. It's also not a horrible. Ooh. Yeah, 200-1 Garrett Greene, 50-1 for Cam Rising.
Dude, you could actually.
These are all dumb plays because Ollie Gordon's 100-1 right here as well. So you got to at least sprinkle that.
How I'm willing to like throw a couple pizza bets on like 5 of these guys.
Oh yeah,
Fifita, hell yeah! With how much? I don't know if Cam Rising can win the Heisman. He's more so he's just a winner. He's not going to get.
He's a workhorse.
How the hell is Will Howard number 4? Is this the same Will Howard that we watched?
Well, because it's gonna fit perfectly at Ohio State, where all he has to do is get the ball out of his hands to dudes that are actually significantly better than 90% of the teams are gonna play.
The wrong quarterback.
The game manager. I mean, if Will Howard can just do his best, like Kirk Cousins, Michigan State impression, then Ohio State should be pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Ohio State's national championship good, but
which is also probably why his odds for Heisman are that low, because when you've got a team that's going to go 11-1 or 10-2 or 12-0, the quarterback's going to be getting a lot of headlines. We just don't know if he's going to start every game.
Yeah. I agree. I don't even know if he'll win the job, to be honest. So,
I mean, Shedeur at 40-1 just because of the media thing. That's got to be a pizza bet.
Yep. Jalen.
Yes, 40. I couldn't agree more.
Jalen at 40-1 has to be a pizza bet. I think Garrett Greene at 200-1 has to be at least like a order of breadsticks bet.
Yeah. Where did you say Jefferson was, Troy?
100-1.
Oh yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that might be like a pizza with the extra. You pay the extra $1 for like 3 or 4 garlic cup sides.
I'm writing these down. So, and I think with the playoff too.
I'm thinking about pizza if you can't tell.
I think with the playoff, with the expanded playoff, these games will get more spotlight. If a team sneaks into a 10, 11, or 12 seed, you're viewed differently, in my opinion, for the Heisman, because you got them to the playoff, and maybe that narrative excels you into that. So looking at our portfolio, as they like to say, Our shortest odds for our Heisman is going to be Noah Fifita 30-1. I think Avery Johnson's worth the stab at 40-1
Absolutely.
if he's going to rush for 1,500 yards potentially. Jalon Daniels also 40-1. Shedeur Sanders 45-1. KJ Jefferson 100-1, and then Garrett Greene 200-1. Any others?
I like Shedeur a lot because of the media.
It's funny that Baron Morton has better odds than Garrett Greene.
Yeah, and Hoover.
And Hoover has better odds.
I don't get that.
And Rocco Becht.
But I was also going to say, I don't know if you've noticed, but West Virginia is like 20-1 to win the Big 12.
Yeah, they're just disrespecting us, baby. Just the way I like it.
They're not drinking the moonshine. They're not drinking the moonshine.
Fucking DJU's 35-1. Get the fuck out of here. How is he just as good as Noah Fifita to win the Heisman?
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense.
No. So it's Cade Klubnik.
If Noah Fifita was on Florida State, they would be preseason like 3-5.
Like 2. Yeah. They're the Big 12 or the SEC and Big 10 bias is at its finest with some of these rankings. These are inflated. Shout out to the chat, Robert, David, Hunter, Get Stilly. Appreciate you rocking with us. I do not agree with Get Stilly that Al Bowman is the next Joe Montana. Do not take Al.
He did the /S.
Yeah.
That means sarcasm. If you haven't been on Reddit your whole life, that's the key for that's sarcasm.
No doubt. Any last thoughts before we head into the Memorial Weekend? Rush, I'll let you lead it off.
Go Celtics and Joe Mazzulla. Let's go win that title. Game 2 tonight, baby.
Let's go. Troy?
Yeah, that was a very good, typically the Celtics lose that first game. And that would be that would be like the, oh my God, we need to wake up and get back in the series. But they probably got all of that, the positive, hey, wake up and fucking actually pay attention. The Pacers aren't, one of the best teams, but they've made it to the Eastern Conference Finals for a reason right now. And they're able to get the win. That's a nice combo. You don't get that a lot. Most of the time you got to take a loss to get the learning juices flowing and the hey, we need to compete a little bit harder. So in order to, luckily for them, they get the W. I think Indiana's going to hang with them in this series, but we're going to look back and be like, man, that game 1 could have changed everything.
Could happen. Go Celtics. I agree. Go check out the college football experience with Colby and those guys. Preview's right around the corner. We had a meeting last night. It'll be here before we know it. And like I said, make sure you're subscribed to all channels because the Big 12, me, Rush, and Troy are going to be breaking down all 16 teams, transfer portal classes coming in and out, coaching changes, schedules, predictions, long shots, futures. We already gave you some Heismans. We got you covered all the way up to Labor Day weekend. And go check out the college basketball experience because, well, it's never ending in the Big 12 in college basketball, the best league in the damn land, America's League. And go check out the college baseball experience with Noah Beanick. Selection Monday, as they say in baseball, is on Memorial Day. So we'll get that bracket, and he'll have you covered all the way to Omaha. He's at Rambling Rush. He's at Troy Tuning. I'm at Moneyline_Mac. We are the Big 12 College Experience, and we are out of here.